Hello everybody, this is the first lecture of the course presented by Guide of Egypt, Mohamed Ibrahim, Learning the Ancient Egyptian Language. The name of the language, as mistakenly called by many people, they call it hieroglyphs or hieroglyphics, but actually the name is the Ancient Egyptian Language, and that is the modern name of the language, or the name we call it in the modern times. What about the name in the ancient times? The ancient Egyptians themselves, they called their language Medu Neter. Medu Neter, as we can see, it means the divine words, or the words or the language descended from the sky. And there is another name was called by the ancient Egyptians. The second name is Kemet, the mouth of Egypt. Kemet is Egypt. And I can translate this a little bit differently. The tongue of Egypt. So it could be the mouth of Egypt, or the tongue of Egypt, or the talk of Egypt. How the ancient Egyptians wrote their language. The script or the font they used. Number one, and the major script and the major font they used is called hieroglyphics. And it came from the ancient Greek words hieroglyphs. It means the sacred writings. And I can explain it easier that this is the most complete picture, or the most complete details of each symbol. Like we are going to see, if we look to this symbol, immediately we will recognize that this is an owl. We will recognize that this is a vulture. We will recognize that this is the water wave. Each symbol has almost all the details, so we can easily understand what it is. We have another example from the front side of one of the tombs at Giza Plateau, and another example from one of the temples. The second type of writings is what we call it hieratics. And from the name we understand that this type of writings was used by the priest. That's why the Greeks call it hieratics. And mainly this type of writing was mainly used above papyrus. But there are many examples written above the walls of the temples and the tombs. This is an example of the hieratics, and this is the same text in hieroglyphs font, and you can see the difference, but it looks very similar but with less details, as we can see. The third type of writings is called demotics, and from the Greek word demos, which means the public or the locals, and we can understand that this is a very easy style of writing, so they can quickly finish any writings or any letters to be sent to somebody else inside Egypt or outside Egypt. Very less details, but to be accurate, or more accurate, that hieroglyphs letter is the same, hieratic is the same demotic. Only the amount of details and how quick they make the letter. This is again an example of a text in demotics, and this is the same text in hieroglyphs. And this is again demotic, and you can see it is actually very difficult to recognize the symbol. And from here I can say that those people who can read demotics are genius people. They are brilliant, because this is not easy job to do. We come to number 4. As I said, there are 3, but we can add number 4, which is a style of writing, and also we can call it a language, the Coptic language. At the end of the ancient Egyptian civilization, especially after the Greek time and in the early Roman time, Egypt became a Christian country, and they adopted the Greek alphabet, and they wrote their spoken language in the Greek alphabet. but because the Greek alphabet doesn't include all the spoken letters, so they add 7 special characters to the Greek alphabet, creating what we call the Coptic language. And I believe some of the characters are Ayn, Ha, Ta, it could be Kha. So that is an example of the Coptic language. This is the table here, or a schedule, to explain what is the difference between the symbol in hieroglyphic and another type of hieroglyphic, and it comes a little bit symbol in the hand writing or shorthand, and then when it comes to hieratic, it will be more symbol, and in demotic it is very simple design. So you can see how it starts and how it ends, and the same for the rest of the symbols. Also, like any language, the ancient Egyptian language had several stages, and there are 5 main stages. The main one is Old Egyptian, and this is from the early beginning of the ancient Egyptians. And we said it starts from Dynasty 1, it could be much earlier. We found some writings dates back before the first dynasty, and it could be not 3000 BC, 3500 BC, and who knows, we could find much older and older writings. But we can say it's between Dynasty 1 and Dynasty 8, about 3000 BC and 2200 BC. The second one is Middle Egyptian, and most of the students of the ancient Egyptian language, they study the language during the second stage, which is the Middle Egyptian, from Dynasty 9 till Dynasty 12. And the third stage is the Late Egyptian, from the 18th dynasty to the 24th dynasty. And then we have the Demotics, which started after the Late Egyptian, from the 25th to the Roman time, and the Coptic language, as I explained, during Christian Egypt, and that is from the 3rd century until the 16th century. When we talk about the Coptic language, as we said before, it is written in the Greek alphabet plus 7 special characters from the ancient Egyptian language. And we can say we have 3 main dialects in the Coptic language. We have the Akhmimi, the Sa'idi, and the Buhairi or Bahiri dialect. So when we look to a text from ancient Egypt, how we understand from where we start reading? From left, from right, from up, from down? Actually, we can read from 3 ways. Number 1 is if we see the faces are facing left, all looking to the left side, so we read from the top to the left side. If the faces are facing, and this is an example, we can see this from Abydos, from the temple of Ramses II, and in this case, because they are all facing left, so we will start from the left side, and we will continue reading to the right, and then the second line from the left and going to the right side. The second example, if the faces are facing the right side, we read from the right side, from the top to the right, and we go left, and then we move to the second line. And we are talking about the horizontal lines, because we're going to see another example later. So when we come to the third type of how we read the ancient Egyptian language, or the writings, we come to the column style. We can see many of the writings are written in shape of columns. So in this case, we also look to the symbols. If they look to the left side, we read from the top left, and we read down, and then we come to the second column, and we keep going down to the right side. The second case of this style, the faces or the symbols are facing right side. So we read from the top right and we read down, and then we come to the second, the third, and the fourth. Okay? This is one of the examples for writings from Dandara temple, and we can see according to the faces we will start from here, from the right side, not from the left side, because the faces all are facing right. So we will start from the right side and we continue to the end, and then we come to the second line from the top and we read down. So 3 ways only, but we don't have the first one reading from bottom to top. So we have from left to right like the Western world, we have right to left like the Eastern world or Middle East, and we have from top to bottom like the Asian style of writing. The symbols. When we write or when we see any of the ancient Egyptian symbols, does each symbol represent one sound? Actually, no, because we have symbols represent 1 sound, 2 sounds, 3 sounds, and 4 sounds. And that is an example. This is one of the group, or one of the symbols of the group of 1 sound, T, and we can call this group of 1 sound the alphabet. Like, see, we will see the vulture represent letter A, B, S, we can call it C, D, E, F, G, and the rest of the symbols, and each symbol here represent 1 sound. So this is M, just M, this is K, this is O, this is N, because we're going to see other symbols represent more than 1 sound. This is a symbol represent 2 sounds. Bir, it is B and R. 1 symbol but 2 sounds. 1 symbol but 3 sounds. Hitab, hitab. And I can say that there is also 1 symbol represent 4 sounds. Kha, sibt, kha, sibt. When we talk about the symbols, we must understand that we have 2 types of symbols. Symbols represent sense, or what we call it, ideograms, like this. This is, if we can call it a word by itself, sish, and there is no alphabet next to it, okay? The second type, we can have the ideogram like this, but we can have what we call it the phonogram, the sound signs, like P, T, so that is pit. So we can mention this and we can come to this. So we have phonograms, we have ideograms, sometimes we have both of them creating 1 word. When we come to the alphabet, we must understand that when we write the ancient Egyptian language, we shall use another style of writing. We call it the transliteration. The transliteration to explain the sound of each letter, like this one. This is A, D, B, S, H, Dish. So here I want you to memorize each letter, because this is what we're going to use to do our homework during the course. Okay, because as an example, this letter has H with a dot under, but that letter H with a small line, or like a crescent under, and there is that letter H with a line, straight line under. So we must make differences. Also, like T, just regular T, but this has T with a line under, so it makes different pronunciation. So that is T, and that is th, th, or sometimes they call it tith. Okay, and that is rain, rain. That is ha, ha, and that is kha, and that is ayn. And most of the visitors to Egypt, when they make a cartouche with their names, some of the workshops here, they made a mistake having the ayn as a. But this is ayn is different from a. But in the Western world, when we say, as an example, adil, they say adil. That's why they use ayn as a, but it's not. So those are unique symbols in the ancient Egyptian language. It doesn't exist in the Western languages, but it does exist in the Arabic language. And that is what we can call it Q, Qaf. Now we come to the real deal. This is the most important part of this lecture now. Letter M, it can play as regular M, like when I say Muhammad, I will use it as part of my name, but we can also use it as preposition. Also can represent the name of the owl. If we add a stroke next to it, it will mean owl, as the name, or as the name owl, or the noun owl. It can play as preposition in or inside, 4 places. Inside the house, inside the city, inside the place, inside any place. And also it means, or it can be used as by means of or with for tools, and from or out of. And this is the example, ber, inside the house or in the house. In also can be used as in, as a letter, or can be used as water wave, and also can be used as, again, preposition, and it can mean of. When I say guide of Egypt, so it will be in Kemet. Guide in Kemet. Like here, in Kemet, of Egypt, or of Kemet. Also, to or for, when I say to me, N-E, to you, N-E. But it comes for people. When it comes as to or for, only people, not any other thing. Are. So if we will say to something, or to place, or to direction, we use are, we don't use in anymore. So in for places, are in for human or people, are for places or things. Okay, and it means also preposition, and it means to or towards or in respect of. Ben 10. This or that. It means this man, this woman. Ben will be used for masculine, this man. Ben is. This woman, 10 set. But shall we say it like this way? No. It comes after the noun. It doesn't come before the noun like in English. No, it comes after the noun. So I say man this, woman this. Es ben set 10. And here is the example. Ber ben this house. Newt 10 this city. So you must be aware it comes after the noun. Now we come to another symbol comes before the noun, ki and ket. It means other or another. So when I say another man, another woman, ki is ket set. We recognize that this is what we can call it the feminine letter. In ancient, you will recognize in the next lectures that we will talk about the masculine and the feminine, and you will realize that the masculine can be ended with any letter, but the feminine always with T, with this letter. Okay. We have the word im, means there, and it can be used as adverb. We have the word bu, means place or places. Why place as singular, places as plural? Because it ends with W. And we understand that in ancient Egyptian language, when they wanted to express about plural, they add W at the end. And the famous example we will see later, the name of Min Cow Ra. Cow or Kau is the plural of Ka. So 1 Ka plus 1 Ka plus 1 Ka, 3 Kas, we call it Ka-wu. So Bu, we cannot add another W to the end. So we consider this as singular and as plural. And from the sentence itself, we understand it is singular or plural. Another, I will not call it problem, but another thing like this, the word khet, which means thing or something, we consider this as feminine word because it ended with T. We have the word Bitah, that is the name of the knitter of Memphis, my hometown. Iyu, that is very important, and we will not explain it right now. We will explain it in the second lesson. Iyu, as a word or an example, comes at the beginning of the sentence, and I can explain it as the word indeed or yes. And then they accept or they approve what is said, and then they continue saying the rest of the sentence. The word name, my name. Name here, Ren, means Ren. This is the verb, jed, verb to say. Verb to say means jed. This is the word hina, means with, together with, or just with. Hina. So now we came to the end of our lesson. This is your homework, and I'm expecting from you to answer the homework and to send it to me by email. You will find all the details written in the PDF attached to the lecture. The first question is, write in hieroglyphs the following combinations of letters. Write in hieroglyphs the following combinations of letters. Write in hieroglyphs the following combinations of letters. I want you to replace those letters, which is, as you can see, this is from group A, the alphabet. I want you to replace it with the hieroglyphic symbol. Cancel that. I want you to replace those letters, which is in transliteration font, with the hieroglyphic font. The second question, translate into Egyptian. This is from English. I want you to translate into Egyptian, adding transliteration to the hieroglyphs. So I want you to translate this to hieroglyphs plus the pronunciation, that transliteration. And I want you to keep the system and the word order. So when we come to the word this and that, I want you to remember what we said, and if it comes before the noun or after the noun. Okay? I hope you enjoyed the lecture and you could understand my style. And for any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and thank you for watching.